Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today I'm going to answer a quick question on freelance jobs, specifically revisions and how to handle them. Now, this is something that is a little bit difficult to deal with when you're first starting out, either as a freelancer or as a company owner. And for those of you who don't know, what happens quite a bit is you'll have a client that wants you to redo the entire project or redo portions of the project for one reason or another. And unfortunately, many times a client might want you to do one thing one day, another thing another day, and it keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it keeps you from doing actual legitimate jobs. It keeps you from actually making actual money because you're working on this one client trying to make them happy. So, what you need to do is before you start working within the contract or within the bid, you actually need to mention your revision policy. You need to say that I will only do X amount of revisions. So, what most freelancers do is they do 3 free revisions, but especially if it's a small job. If it's a major job, if it takes, say, if it takes a week to do the job, an actual full week, 8 hours a day, then they'll say that I will do a free revision up to 1 hour of work, after which you're going to pay full or half price and go from there. Now, what I personally do is I take an extra step. I also, on top of having a policy either in the bid or in the contract or within the emails going back and forth, like if I forget to do in the bid, things happen. I try to do in the emails back and forth. One of the things I do is as I show them the design of an application or something like that, I've mentioned somewhere within there, and if they read through it, then it's right there, and I can point back to it. Normally, they'll read through it, they'll skip over it, and whatever it may be. The reason why you would want it in a bid or something like that, instead of just flat out saying, "Hey, this is my revision policy, by the way, and you need to agree to it," is many times the customer will try to just negotiate around it. They'll try to use it against you, saying, "Well, you might not be worthwhile if you got to use a revision policy or something else." They don't really. Many times, clients they either think about it as you're trying to scam them out of something, or you're not that good, but they don't really think about that you got some of these clients that try to screw over freelancers or companies out of a job. I personally actually ran into this once where a client actually wanted me to do, before I put revision policies in, they wanted me to do one thing, then they wanted to change it and do another, and it kept going down. And after the fifth time, I'm saying, "Hey, dude, you need to pay me or we can't work together at all." In the site that we're on, I actually ended up having to report them and get them blocked off the site because apparently this was something that they were famous for doing. And the reason why they were doing that is the freelancer, they were so afraid that they would get a bad reputation. So they just gave the person the thing for free and just walked away and just didn't deal with the person again. But the person got whatever for free instead of paying $2,000 or whatever the project was. So this is very important to note is you need to have that revision policy in there, and you need to understand what it's going to take to do the job and what is your capabilities on top of that. But what I do on top of that is I use a payment system. Uh, Most freelancers have a down payment system. The down payment system covers things like materials that's used to do the job. So if you got to purchase software, or if you got to, if you're doing pen and paper type of stuff, stuff like that, it covers that. So if everything's a wash, at least you're not going downhill. At least you didn't lose any money. You just lost time. So it covers that plus a little bit extra, and that way it covers your a little bit of time. But that's the first payment. After that, what I do is take whatever's left and divide it in 25% chunks. So when I get the first quarter done, I show them it, and then upon agreement, they pay me the 25%. When I show them half of it done, and they agree to it, then they pay me the halfway mark. and so on and so on. And what this does is this puts an incentive that, hey, you will pay whatever amount and you will know exactly what's going on, what exactly the application looks like, or what exactly the paper looks like, or what exactly whatever that's being worked on looks like. And that way the person actually can take a look at it and say, this needs to be changed, that needs to be changed, and this other needs to be changed. And that way, as you're working on it, you could say that's part of the revision itself, but personally, I'll say it's much easier to change it there. So I really wouldn't actually count that as much of a revision. And many times than not, you'll actually finish ahead of time by doing this, especially if the clientele wants to work with you on this. And because they've been working with you the entire time, they've been seeing what you've been doing and whatever it may be. Not only you probably won't have to do any revisions at all, but they'll actually try to use you again because they'll understand, oh, this is actually very difficult to do, so I need to hire someone. And this person, they sat through and they showed me their work as we went through, and therefore I'm going to hire them again because I trust them. That's all you got at the end of the day. So with that, that's what you got to keep in mind when you're dealing with revisions. But I would never negotiate revisions as far as if I say that there are 3 free revisions and then past that, so you got to pay me full price or half price or whatever, then I wouldn't negotiate that. Because at the end, say if they want a 4th revision and I got time and whatever it may be, fine. I can fudge the rules and just allow that to happen. Whereas at the start, if I say 4 revisions and I only have time for 3 revisions, well, sure as hell, I'm going to be in trouble when it gets to the point that they're going to try to use that 4th revision because contracts and whatever. So that's a thing to keep in mind, is that you need to make sure that you're very upfront before any payment goes through, before any of that comes through on your revision policy. And then you need to stick to it all the way through as far as any agreement, whatever it may be. And at the end, if you don't have time for past that whatever revision mark that you left there, then you need to stick to it and say, hey, you agreed to this, now pay up, or I can't work on this anymore. And that way you don't run into actual problems. But again, if you use that 25% thing, then it tends to eliminate that problem altogether. But it does happen once in a long while. So it eliminates a lot of those type of problems. But anyways, hopefully that helps you out in understanding this and being a freelancer or a company owner. And I'll see you next video. Hope you have a great day.